Life in Thailand, beautiful women, $500 budget, and why foreign men never leave. What if I told you there's a place where you can live better than you do right now? Not just cheaper, but freer, happier, and maybe even more loved, for just $500 a month. Sounds impossible, right? But it's not. This place exists, and it's called Thailand. Now hold on, because this isn't just another travel pitch. This isn't about hopping on a plane for a vacation. This is about something deeper. A way of life that many foreign men stumble into and then never leave. Because once they get here, everything changes. Rent that barely dents your wallet. Food so good it ruins your favorite takeout back home. Nightlife that makes Friday feel like a warm-up. And women? Yes, they're beautiful. But more than that, they're kind, graceful, and still value connection in a way many men haven't felt in years. But this video isn't just about low prices or pretty places. It's about stories, real people. A culture shock that doesn't slap. It soothes. From small apartments that feel like peace tonight, markets that feel like magic, we're going to walk through the full experience. We'll break down what $500 actually gets you, how it compares to what you're paying now, and why men from all walks of life, retired, divorced, digital nomads, or just burned out, come here and stay. There's a reason for it all. And there's one surprise near the end that might just make you rethink everything. So before you scroll, just ask yourself, what if this isn't just a video? What if this is a door to something better? Keep watching. Why 500 anurs in Thailand feels like $5,000 in the West. This is going to sound fake, but let me explain how I lived like a king in Chiang Mai for the price of a pizza in New York. You don't need to be rich to feel rich in Thailand. That's the crazy part. When I first arrived, I was expecting to stretch every dollar and live super basic. But I quickly realized my budget went further than I ever imagined. Things that were considered luxuries back home were suddenly part of everyday life. Let's start with the basics. Rent. You can get a clean studio apartment in Chiang Mai or even parts of Bangkok for around $150 to $200 a month. Not in the middle of nowhere. Actual city locations. These aren't five-star suites, of course, but they come with air conditioning, Wi-Fi, a private bathroom, and often a small balcony. Back in the US, you'd be lucky to find a closet for that price. I once saw someone paying $1,800 in California for a tiny space with no parking. Here, you could rent for a whole year for the same cost. Then there's the food. This is where Thailand really shows off. I'm talking full meals, rice, meat, soup, vegetables, all cooked fresh for $1 to $2. And it's not just cheap, it's delicious. You won't be eating junk. You'll find herbs, spices, fresh ingredients, and recipes passed down through generations. There are street food stalls on every corner, and each one has its own loyal customers. You won't go hungry. In fact, you'll probably eat better than you ever have. I remember calling my mom and telling her I had just eaten grilled fish, papaya salad, sticky rice, and fresh coconut juice, for less than a fancy coffee back home. Let's not forget about transport. Renting a scooter costs around $50 a month. That's including gas in many cases. You don't need a car, you don't need insurance, car payments, or expensive fuel. For short distances, Grab, their version of Uber, costs less than a sandwich in London. Want to travel between cities? Long-distance buses, trains, and budget flights are all super affordable. Travel isn't something you save for here. It's something you just do on the weekend. Now, here's the part that really made me pause. Massages. In the West, a massage is a once-in-a-year luxury. In Thailand, it's part of your weekly routine. A traditional Thai massage costs about $6 to $10, depending on where you go. That's for a full hour. Some places even serve tea afterwards. It's not about pampering yourself, it's about taking care of your body and slowing down. I met a retired guy from England who told me, "I get a massage 3 times a week. Not because I'm spoiled, but because it's cheaper than painkillers." And then there's healthcare. Now, I'm not here to argue about politics, but I met a retired teacher from the US who put it in the simplest words. He said, "Thailand saved my life." He had heart issues and couldn't afford the treatment back home. He came to Thailand, paid cash at a private hospital, and still had money left over for dinner. That stuck with me. Health shouldn't be something people have to gamble on. But in Thailand, even private hospitals are affordable, and many are modern, clean, and internationally accredited. People often ask, "Yeah, but what's the catch?" Honestly, there isn't one. You just need to adjust your expectations. If you need a giant apartment, imported snacks, and name-brand everything, you'll spend more. But if you're okay with simple, clean, and comfortable, your money will stretch like magic. Most of the men I met were surprised, too. Some came for a short break. Some were escaping stress. But once they saw how far their money could go, everything changed. There's even data to back it up. Sites like Numbeo and Expatistan show that Thailand's cost of living is 50% to 70% lower than most major Western cities. Bangkok is about 60% cheaper than London or San Francisco. Chiang Mai is even cheaper. Reddit threads are full of expats sharing their monthly budgets, and most of them stick to around $500 to $800 comfortably. That includes food, rent, transport, healthcare, and even fun money. But numbers alone don't explain the feeling. It's not just about what you can buy, it's how you feel. Back home, $500 gets eaten up before the month begins. One trip to the grocery store, one utility bill, one emergency expense, and you're out. In Thailand, $500 isn't a burden. It's freedom. You don't constantly worry. You don't feel pressure to chase the next dollar. That changes your mindset. It brings peace. You also start to enjoy the little things. You notice the quiet mornings. You sip your coffee slowly instead of rushing to your job. You say yes to more things. A scooter ride to the mountains? Why not? A new dish at a food stall? Let's try it. It's not about being rich. It's about living richly. And once that clicks, you understand why so many people come here and decide not to go back. So, yes, it sounds fake, but only until you experience it. A studio apartment for $200, 3 meals a day for less than $5, massages that don't empty your wallet, and healthcare that doesn't make you panic. It doesn't just feel cheaper, it feels kinder. And after years of feeling like life was getting more expensive and more stressful back home, that kindness means everything. And we're just getting started. Because living cheap is one thing, but living with joy, connection, and excitement, that's something else. And Thailand doesn't just make your money go further, it makes your happiness last longer. The women of Thailand. Beyond beauty. Let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, Thai women are beautiful. That's often one of the first things people mention when they talk about Thailand. But there's a lot more going on here than just looks. In fact, what makes foreign men stay in Thailand often has less to do with appearance and more to do with how they feel when they with Thai women. Thai culture values grace, kindness, and respect. And you can feel that in everyday interactions. Thai women are often raised with a sense of calm, patience, and caring that really stands out, especially if you're coming from a place where dating feels like a battlefield. You'll notice it right away. They don't play games. They're polite, they smile often, and they actually listen when you talk. You're not being judged for your shoes, your job title, or your Instagram following. Instead, it's about how you treat them. I once asked a local girl what she looks for in a man. Her answer, "Not rich, but kind." I nearly dropped my pad thai. That's the kind of response that makes you think. It's simple, but powerful. You start to realize that kindness is still seen as attractive here. That being respectful, caring, and present isn't just tolerated, it's appreciated. And for a lot of men who've been through messy breakups, cold shoulders, or just years of being ignored, that's life-changing. Now, this doesn't mean everything is perfect or that there are no problems. Relationships, no matter where you are, take understanding and effort. But many foreign men talk about feeling seen and respected in Thailand in ways they haven't felt in years. There's something deeply refreshing about not having to constantly prove yourself, impress someone with status, or be caught up in dating politics. It becomes more about emotional connection and day-to-day warmth. There are thousands of real stories out there. Men who came for a vacation and ended up marrying a local. Teachers, freelancers, retired soldiers, even one guy I met who used to drive a delivery truck in Texas. Let's call him Dave. Dave came to Thailand just to get away for a bit after his divorce. He met a woman named Molly in a coffee shop. They didn't even speak the same language at first. Google Translate helped a lot. But over time, they built something real. He's been here 7 years now, happily married, raising 2 kids, and running a small business. His words? "She brought peace into my life. That's all I ever wanted." You see, dating here isn't rushed. There's still a sense of courtship, getting to know someone slowly. Family matters. Respect is mutual. And while not every story is a fairy tale, the point is that meaningful relationships still feel possible here. And that hope alone is powerful. Now compare that to dating in the West, where apps often feel like job interviews with filters. People swipe leftover tiny things. A photo, a typo, or the wrong angle can ruin your chances. There's pressure to impress fast, to be interesting, rich, adventurous, and emotionally stable, all at the same time. It's exhausting. And for older men especially, dating can start to feel like a closed door. You hear things like, "You're too old," or "You don't earn enough." It's discouraging. In Thailand, the dating culture feels more open. Older men are not judged harshly. In fact, age is often seen as a sign of maturity and stability. A 50-year-old man dating a 30-year-old woman isn't shocking here. It's accepted, sometimes even respected. It doesn't mean there are no gold diggers or dishonest people. Those exist everywhere. But there's a big difference in how relationships start and how people treat each other. Here is an interesting fact. About 40% of long-term Western expats in Thailand are in relationships with local women. That's based on data from expat forums like Thai Visa and real community surveys. And most of those relationships aren't based on money. Many involve foreign men with modest incomes, teachers on small salaries, or retirees living on a budget. What matters more is how people connect, emotionally, culturally, and personally. You'll also notice a unique Thai concept called sanuk. It doesn't translate directly, but it's basically the idea that life should be fun, lighthearted, and enjoyed. That is why even serious things in Thailand, like weddings or business meetings, often have music, laughter, and a relaxed vibe. This mindset flows into relationships too. Couples enjoy life together, eat street food late at night, go on scooter rides, visit temples, and laugh a lot. It's less about drama and more about harmony. Another quirky thing is how locals react to simple kindness. Holding the door, sharing food, or just being patient during a conversation goes a long way. A smile can lead to a chat. A chat can lead to a friendship. And that friendship might just turn into something more. There's no pressure to impress, no need to be flashy. Being genuine is enough. All of this creates a very different emotional environment. Foreign men often say they feel more respected and desired here, not just for how they look or what they own, but for who they are. That sense of being valued, especially if you felt overlooked or unappreciated before, can be incredibly healing. It's not about being worshipped, it's about being welcomed. Of course, no place is perfect. Some relationships work, some don't. Some people are kind, some aren't. But overall, the feeling many men get in Thailand is one of acceptance. And when that feeling comes after years of rejection or loneliness, it can change everything. So yes, Thai women are beautiful. But more than that, they bring something else. Warmth, patience, humor, and a way of seeing men that feels different. And for many foreigners, that's not just attractive, it's the reason they stay. Where do they live? Expats on a budget. Think you need to be rich to live abroad? Most of the people I met in Thailand were just regular guys. Uber drivers, retired mechanics, school teachers, graphic designers, even broke backpackers. None of them had millions in the bank. Some were living off small pensions, others were doing online work. But they all found a way to make it work, and most of them were living pretty well. Thailand isn't only for digital nomads with MacBooks or wealthy retirees. In fact, the ones who seemed the happiest were the ones who came with simple goals: to relax, to start fresh, or just to enjoy life a little. The most common places where foreign men live are Chiang Mai, Bangkok, Phuket, and Pattaya. Each place has its own flavor, and you can choose what suits you best depending on your lifestyle and budget. Let's talk about Chiang Mai first. This is one of the most popular spots for budget-friendly living. It's calm, clean, and surrounded by mountains. Rent here is incredibly affordable. You can find small studio apartments for $150 to $250 a month. Many of them have Wi-Fi, air conditioning, and even access to a swimming pool or gym. Some are in quiet neighborhoods with little cafes nearby, while others are closer to the city center where you're just steps away from night markets and co-working spots. One guy I met, let's call him Mark from Canada, sold his car, packed his bags, and flew to Chiang Mai. He thought he'd stay for a month. It's been 3 years and he hasn't worn a tie since. He lives in a one-bedroom apartment for about $200 a month. He works remotely for a small software company and grabs $1 coffee from a co-working cafe down the street. His favorite part? No traffic, no stress, and the weather makes you forget what winter feels like. Now, let's move to Bangkok. It's the capital and definitely more fast-paced. If you like big cities, tall buildings, and always having something to do, Bangkok might be your place. It's more expensive than Chiang Mai but still far cheaper than most Western cities. You can still find decent apartments for around $300 to $500 a month. There are high-rise condos with rooftop pools, 24/7 security, and convenience stores right downstairs. It's busy, yes, but surprisingly organized. The train system makes getting around easy, and if you avoid the tourist areas, it's totally manageable. Bangkok is also full of co-working spaces. Some of them charge just a couple of bucks for a full day, and many offer free coffee or even snacks. You'll meet people from everywhere. Writers, video editors, designers, even guys teaching English online to kids in China. It's a hub of quiet hustle. Everyone's doing their thing without stress. Then there's Phuket. If you like beaches, sunsets, and the sound of waves, this is a strong option. Phuket has a mix of everything: chill areas, tourist spots, and quiet beach towns. The cost of living is a bit higher near the beach, but if you move just 10-15 minutes inland, the prices drop a lot. You can rent a place for $250 to $400 depending on what you want. Many expats here ride scooters, shop at local markets, and live a laid-back life. There's also a big health and wellness scene: yoga, gyms, and smoothie bowls if that's your thing. And then there's Pattaya. It has a bit of a reputation because of its nightlife, but it's also a very livable city. A lot of retired men settle here. Why? Because it's comfortable, has English-speaking doctors, easy transport, and the sea is right there. It's cheaper than Bangkok, and you can find apartments for around $200 and $300. You'll meet people who've been there for decades. They know the shopkeepers by name. They've built lives, not just vacations. The cool thing is, no matter which city you choose, Thailand makes it easy to live simply but comfortably. You don't need a car. Public transport, bikes, and scooters work just fine. Eating out is cheaper than cooking at home in many cases. And because the climate is warm year-round, you save on heating, winter clothes, and other costs that slowly drain your money back home. If you watch YouTube or follow travel blogs, You'll find so many budget travelers who explain their lives in detail. One guy lives in Chiang Mai on $600 a month and still manages to save money. Another lives in Phuket, works part-time online, and spends most afternoons at the beach. These aren't fantasy lives. They're just people who figured out that you don't need a big income to enjoy life. You just need the right place. And honestly, you learn to value things differently here. Back home, people talk about square footage, property value, and mortgages. In Thailand, the focus is more on comfort, community, and daily joy. You start thinking less about having more space and more about having more peace. A small apartment with a clean bed, working air conditioner, and a view of palm trees can bring more happiness than a big condo you're stressed to pay for. A $2 meal shared with kind people can feel better than a $60 dinner alone. That's what living on a budget in Thailand teaches you. So, no, you don't need to be rich. You just need to be smart about what matters. Most of the men I met had one thing in common. They weren't chasing status. They were chasing freedom. And Thailand gave it to them, even on a small budget. Where do they live? In simple, affordable places with quiet mornings and easy routines. But more importantly, they live in a place where they feel alive. And for many, that's something money alone could never buy. Food that heals your soul. Thai food is the reason I'll never eat microwave pasta again. After just a few days of eating here, you realize how much love, care, and freshness goes into every dish. It's not just about filling your stomach. It's about feeling happy, satisfied, and often surprised. Even if you've tried Thai food back home, nothing prepares you for the real thing. The first thing you notice is how affordable everything is. You don't need to go to fancy restaurants. Most of the best meals come from small street carts or hole-in-the-wall places. You can get a plate of papaya salad for $1, a bowl of hot and sour tom yum soup for $2, or a spicy green curry with rice for under $3. And the taste? It's rich, full of flavor, and freshly made right in front of you. There's a perfect mix of sweet, sour, spicy, and salty in almost every dish. Like your taste buds are going on an adventure. But it's not just the price or the taste. Thai food is surprisingly healthy too. Most dishes are full of vegetables, fresh herbs like basil and cilantro, garlic, lime, and chilies. There's very little processed food. Even the fried stuff doesn't feel greasy. And since meals are often cooked in small batches, you get fresh, hot food without waiting long. You can eat 3 full meals a day and still feel light and energized. Something that rarely happens with fast food or frozen meals back in the West. What really makes Thai food special, though, is how personal it feels. After a week of visiting the same vendor for breakfast, they'll start to remember you. They'll ask how spicy you like your food. They'll smile when they see you walking over. It feels like being part of something, like a daily routine that has more human than mechanical. There's a warmth that comes with being a regular at a food stall. It's not about money, it's about respect and kindness. And then there are the food markets. These are everywhere, in big cities and small towns. Some are open during the day, but the real magic happens at night. These night markets open around 5 p.m. and stay open until midnight or later. They're full of energy, color, smells, and sounds. You'll find rows and rows of stalls selling everything from grilled meats and fresh fruit to noodles, desserts, and smoothies. The choices are endless. Some of the best meals I had were standing in a market with a plastic plate in one hand and a fresh juice in the other, surrounded by locals and tourists enjoying the same thing. And you don't need to spend much. A full dinner in one of these markets can cost as little as $3. That S, not just one item. That S soup, a main dish, and maybe even dessert. Bangkok, in fact, is ranked in the top 10 cities in the world for street food quality and safety. That means you can eat well, eat clean, and eat cheap, all at the same time. It's hard to think of many places where that's possible. One of the most touching memories I have is from a small town just outside Chiang Mai. I had wandered off the usual path and ended up at a family-run stall. I couldn't speak Thai, and they didn't speak English. But the mother, father, and their 2 kids invited me to sit down with them. They served me soup and sticky rice, and we all ate together under a quiet sky. We barely spoke, but we laughed a lot, and they wouldn't let me pay. That night, I felt more at home than I ever did in my apartment in LA. Surrounded by strangers, I felt connected through food, smiles, and simple kindness. That's what Thai food does. It feeds you, yes, but it also reminds you of something deeper. How food can bring people together, create memories, and heal your soul. You stop rushing meals. You stop eating just to stay alive. You start looking forward to food again, not for calories or weight loss, but for comfort, joy, and connection. Even if you're not a foodie, Thailand will change how you see food. You'll start craving fresh mango with sticky rice instead of candy bars. You'll miss the smell of grilled chicken in the air at sunset. You'll remember the soft, warm feeling of sipping soup on a rainy day in a plastic chair, surrounded by laughter. Back home, eating often feels like a task. In Thailand, it becomes an experience. And once you've tasted that kind of life, it's hard to go back. That's why the food isn't just good, it's unforgettable. It's part of why people stay. Because when something as simple as dinner can feel this rich, this personal, and this comforting, you start to wonder, what else in life have I been missing? Nightlife and freedom. Imagine a place where every night feels like Friday, and no one's judging you for having a beer at noon. That's what nightlife in Thailand feels like. It's not just about clubs or bars. It's about the freedom to relax, enjoy, and be yourself without pressure. Whether you want a wild party, a chill drink, or just some background music while you talk to a stranger, Thailand gives you that option. Let's start with Bangkok, a city that never really sleeps. One of the most famous spots is Khaosan Road. It's loud, colorful, and full of life. You'll find bars lined up one after another, live music playing in the background, and people from all over the world dancing, laughing, and making friends. But it's not only for young backpackers. Older travelers, couples, solo adventurers, everyone blends in here. Nobody cares what you do for a living or what you wear. It's just about having a good time. Now, if that's not your style, head to Chiang Mai. It's quieter, but just as fun in a different way. The bars there are more laid back. Think reggae music, open-air patios, and candlelit tables. You can sit with a cold drink, meet other travelers, and talk for hours. Some bars have acoustic nights where locals and foreigners sing together. The mood is easygoing, warm, and welcoming. You don't need to be loud or flashy, you just need to show up and enjoy. What's interesting is the variety of nightlife. There are girly bars, yes, especially in areas like Pattaya and parts of Bangkok. But there are also jazz clubs, rooftop lounges, beach bars, and sports pubs. And honestly, they're all equally welcoming. You might think some places are only for certain types of people, but that's rarely true. Foreigners are often treated kindly, and the staff make you feel at home, whether you're buying a fancy cocktail or a $2 beer. Safety is something people worry about, especially at night. But Thailand ranks quite high in expat safety, even higher than the US in many categories according to Nomad List and Interpol data. Walking back to your place at midnight doesn't feel scary. Of course, you still need to be careful like anywhere else. Don't get too drunk, keep your wallet safe. But overall, the streets are lively and safe. You see families walking around, old uncles playing cards, and food stalls still cooking. That feeling of freedom, of not looking over your shoulder all the time, is hard to describe until you feel it. Now, let's talk about dating apps. Tinder and Bumble are very popular here, both among locals and foreigners. But the way people use them is often more relaxed. Back home, apps can feel like a competition. Perfect pictures, clever bios, fast replies. In Thailand, it's different. People seem more open to conversation and actually meeting up. And the stories that come from these apps are often funny and sweet. One guy I met, let's call him Eric, told me, "Back home, I got ghosted for using Android. Here, I got asked out because I smiled politely at a fruit stand." That kind of sums up the vibe. People value manners and attitude more than your phone brand or your job title. Smiling and being respectful go a long way here. Even on dating apps, you don't need to try so hard, just be decent, and people respond to that. And even if you're not looking to date, Nightlife still offers connection. You meet travelers with interesting stories, locals who want to practice English, or just kind strangers happy to share a table with you. Friendships start quickly in Thailand. You say hello, you share a drink, and suddenly you're laughing with someone you met 10 minutes ago. That happens all the time, and it doesn't feel weird. It feels normal. The drinks are cheap, the food is always close by, and the music never stops for long. You can dance if you want. You can sit quietly if you prefer. Nobody's watching you or judging you. That is one of the biggest freedoms here. The freedom to enjoy life on your own terms. And the best part? You don't need a lot of money. A night out can cost as little as $10–15 if you keep it simple. That includes drinks, snacks, and maybe even a ride home. Back in the West, that's the cost of just one cocktail. Here, it buys you a full evening of fun, smiles, and maybe even a new friend. Thailand. Nightlife isn't TOT, about showing off or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about letting go of stress, meeting new people, and feeling free. Whether you're watching the sunset from a beach bar in Phuket, listening to jazz in Bangkok, or playing pool with strangers in Chiang, you feel a sense of joy that's hard to find elsewhere. It's not just about drinking or staying out late. It's about what nightlife gives you. A chance to relax, be open, and feel human again. And when you combine that with the kindness of people, the low cost, and the safe environment, it becomes clear why so many foreign men fall in love with life here. Night after night, it feels like the weight of the world just disappears. No one cares what time you go home. No one cares if you're old or young, rich or broke. In Thailand, every night feels like a fresh start. And for many people, that's more than fun. That's freedom. Daily life. Simple, cheap, peaceful. This was shocking. It cost me less to get a massage here than to do laundry back home. That's when I realized daily life in Thailand isn't just cheaper. It's easier, calmer, and in many ways, happier. Everything that used to stress me out, bills, traffic, rushing through chores, just felt lighter here. Living in Thailand isn't about luxury. It's about living well in simple, peaceful ways. Let's start with transportation. Getting around is easy and super affordable. If you don't want to drive, there's Grab, which is like Uber. A ride across town might cost just $1 to $2. If you prefer something more local, there are tuk-tuks, the small three-wheeled vehicles that are fun, quick, and perfect for short rides. And for those who like freedom, renting a scooter is one of the best choices. You can rent one for about $50 a month. Gas is cheap, traffic is manageable, especially outside big cities, and parking is never a problem. You feel independent without needing a car, insurance, or expensive fuel. One of the things I noticed quickly was how relaxed everything feels. People are not in a rush. No one's yelling in traffic. No one's pushing you to hurry up. The local mindset is called Mai Pen Rai, which roughly means don't worry or it's okay. It's a way of life. If something goes wrong, they smile and say, Mai Pen Rai. If you're late or plans change, no one gets angry. It takes some time to adjust, but once you do, it's like a weight lifts off your shoulders. You stop rushing, you start breathing. Even simple errands are easy here. Getting a haircut costs about $3 to $5. No appointments, no long waits. Just walk in, get it done, and walk out looking fresh. Gym memberships can be found for $20 to $30 a month, sometimes less. And the gyms are clean, quiet, and friendly. Paying bills is also smooth. Most people use apps or just pay at 7-Eleven. You can top up your phone, pay electricity, even book travel. All from one counter, no paperwork, no queues, no headaches. Now let's talk about work, especially for digital nomads. Thailand is one of the top places in the world for remote work. If you're doing online jobs, writing, editing, coding, teaching, you'll feel right at home. There are co-working spaces everywhere. Some charge only $10 a day and include coffee, fast Wi-Fi, and comfortable seating. Many have quiet zones, meeting rooms, and even nap areas. It's a dream if you're used to working in noisy cafes or cramped apartments. What makes daily life even better is how stress-free it becomes. There's no pressure to impress anyone. You wear flip-flops, ride a scooter, eat at a street stall, and no one looks twice. You don't need fancy clothes or brand names, you just need a smile and good manners. That's enough. You start living for yourself, not for society's expectations. You eat when you're hungry, rest when you're tired, and work when it suits you best. One day, I remember sitting quietly in my room after paying all my bills for the month. Rent, food, transport, everything, all within budget. No credit card worries, no late fees, no debt hanging over me. And I started crying. Not because I was sad, but because for once I wasn't anxious about money or time or trying to prove anything to anyone. It was the first time I felt free in years. That's the emotional shift that daily life in Thailand brings. You're not just saving money, you're gaining peace. You wake up without a to-do list that chokes you. You go to sleep without your brain spinning. You start caring more about small joys. A cold drink on a hot day, a smile from a stranger, the smell of food cooking outside your window. People here live in the moment. They sit with friends and actually talk. No phones, no distractions. You see kids playing outside. You hear music from temples or street musicians. And somehow, it all blends into a peaceful rhythm. It's not perfect, nothing is, but it's calm and real. And that makes all the difference. Even when problems come up, they're handled with patience. I once had a leak in my apartment. The landlord didn't yell. He sent someone right away, smiled, and thanked me for my patience. It was fixed in an hour. Back home, that kind of service might take days, plus a few angry emails. Here, things are simple. People try to help. Over time, you stop feeling like a guest. You start feeling like you belong. You greet the same people every day. The lady at the fruit stall, the guy at the gym, the coffee shop owner who remembers your order. You're part of a small, gentle routine that makes life feel full without being overwhelming. So, yes, it costs less to get a massage here than to do laundry back home. But that's just the surface. What really matters is how daily life makes you feel. Calm, steady, and free from the noise that usually fills our heads. In Thailand, life slows down in the best possible way. And once you get used to that, it's hard to imagine going back. Why foreign men never leave. Everyone says they're just visiting. A short trip, a few weeks of sunshine, maybe a break from a busy job or a tough situation back home. But then it happens. One sunset, one conversation, one bowl of soup, and they stay. It sounds simple, even funny, but this is something that happens all the time in Thailand. Foreign men arrive with return tickets, but they never use them. So what really makes them stay? For many, it starts with something they didn't expect. Emotional peace. Back in their home countries, life felt heavy. There was pressure from work, rising bills, loneliness, or just a constant feeling of not being enough. But in Thailand, they find something different. The pace is slower, the expectations are softer, and people don't judge you for how you look or what you earn. You're not in a race. You're not trying to prove yourself every day. That calmness hits hard, especially if you've spent years feeling burnt out or invisible. Mental health is a big part of this. Some men arrive feeling lost or broken. Maybe they've gone through a divorce, lost a job, or just feel stuck. In the West, therapy is expensive and talking about emotions can feel awkward. But here, healing happens naturally. You're surrounded by sunshine, nature, smiles, and simple kindness. You eat fresh food, sleep better, walk more, and stress less. You start to feel like yourself again, and for the first time in a long time, you can actually breathe. Another reason many men stay is something that's missing in their home countries: respect, especially for older men. In the West, getting older can feel like you're slowly becoming invisible. Job options shrink, dating becomes harder, and society often pushes younger faces forward. But in Thai culture, age is respected. Older people are seen as wise, calm, and stable. They're not pushed aside, they're appreciated. This is why you often see older foreign men living comfortably in Thailand. They don't feel out of place. They feel seen. Whether they're in a relationship, running a small business, or just enjoying retirement, they are treated with care. Taxi drivers call them sir. Locals greet them politely, and there's no shame in being 60 or 70. In fact, some Thai women actually prefer older men, not for money, but for maturity, patience, and stability. Many foreign men also find a new sense of purpose here. Some start teaching English, helping young students grow in confidence. Others volunteer at animal shelters, orphanages, or environmental groups. Some learn Thai, take cooking classes, or study Buddhism. There's a joy in learning again, in giving something back. Life becomes more than just working to pay bills. It becomes meaningful. Take the story of Steve, a 63-year-old from the UK. "I came for 3 weeks," he told me. That was 9 years ago. He now teaches part-time at a local language school. He lives in a modest apartment, rides a scooter, and plays guitar in the evenings. "I've got everything I need here: peace, people, purpose. Why would I leave?" Then there's Greg, 45, from Texas. He said something that stuck with me. "I've never been treated with this much kindness before. That's why I'm still here." Greg runs a YouTube channel about daily life in Thailand. He says the support he gets from locals and other expats makes him feel like part of something real. "Back home, I felt like I didn't matter. Here, people look me in the eye and smile. That changes you." Of course, staying long-term does require a visa, but Thailand offers several options. The retirement visa is popular for men over 50. It's simple to apply for if you meet basic financial requirements. There's also the education visa, for people learning Thai, cooking, or even Muay Thai boxing. These visas allow you to stay for a year or more, and they can be renewed. Some men also get business visas if they open a small company or work for an international business. There's also something called the Elite Visa. It's more expensive, but it offers easy long-term stays for people who can afford it. Then there's the Volunteer Visa, which allows people to help out at schools or charities while living in Thailand legally. So staying isn't as hard as it might seem. With a little planning, it's very doable. But even with all these options, the real reason men stay isn't on paper. It's in their hearts. They feel better here. Life is softer. Days feel lighter. Smiles feel real. And even the small moments, a walk to the market, a chat with a neighbor, a cup of coffee in the sun, start to feel special. You realize that happiness doesn't always come from big things. Sometimes it's the quiet life that brings the biggest peace. And it's not just the older guys. Younger men also choose to stay. Some are digital workers who only need a laptop and Wi-Fi. Others are artists, writers, or entrepreneurs who feel more inspired in Thailand. The lifestyle gives them time to think, space to create, and freedom to live on their own terms. You don't need a big budget, you just need an open mind. It's also easy to make friends here. There are Facebook groups, meetups, language exchanges, and expat hangouts in almost every city. People are friendly and open. They've all been the new guy at some point, so they welcome others easily. You don't feel alone for long. And because everyone is from somewhere else, conversations feel honest and interesting. So why do foreign men never leave? It's not just one thing. It's a mix of emotional freedom, respect, purpose and peace. It's the feeling of waking up and not dreading the day. The feeling of being welcomed, not judged. The feeling of starting over, not falling behind. And once someone feels that, it's hard to let it go. That's why a 2-week trip turns into a 2-year stay. That's why return tickets gather dust. And that's why Thailand isn't just a destination. It becomes a home. For many men, it's not about escaping life. It's about finally living it. Culture shocks you'll actually love. No, it's not all sunshine and coconut water. But that's what makes it unforgettable. Living in Thailand comes with its own little surprises. Some things might seem strange at first, maybe even confusing. But over time, these culture shocks become the exact things you end up loving most. They make everyday life interesting, teach you something new, and show you a different way of thinking. One of the first things you'll notice is the respect shown around temples. Temples are everywhere in Thailand. Big, small, old, golden. And they're not just places for tourists. They're active, sacred spaces. When visiting, you need to take off your shoes before entering, dress modestly, and speak quietly. It's common to see people offering flowers, lighting incense, or kneeling in silence. At first, you might feel unsure how to behave, but the more you observe, the more you understand. You begin to admire how calm and peaceful the atmosphere is. Another fun surprise? 7-Eleven. Yes, the same convenience store you know from back home. But in Thailand, it's on another level. People here love 7-Eleven. It's open 24/7, it's on every corner, and it sells everything from fresh sandwiches to laundry detergent. Need a late-night snack, a new SIM card, or even to pay your electricity bill? 7-Eleven has your back. And the Toasties, those hot grilled cheese sandwiches, are famous. You might laugh at first, but soon you'll catch yourself stopping by at least once a day. Then there's the Wei greeting. This is when someone presses their hands together in front of their chest and gives a small bow. It's a sign of respect, and you'll see it everywhere. Between friends, co-workers, and strangers, it's not forced or fake. It's genuine. It's a reminder that respect doesn't always have to be loud or formal. Sometimes it's just a small gesture that says, "I see you, I respect you." One of the most beautiful things about Thai culture is the influence of Buddhism. You feel it in the daily life around you, in the calm faces of morning monks collecting food, in the soft chanting from a nearby temple, in the quiet way people speak when passing sacred places. Buddhism here isn't just religion, it's a way of living. It teaches patience, kindness, and peace. You start to feel it in your own life, too. You stop rushing. You start listening. You let go of small annoyances. And then, just when you think Thailand is all about calm and quiet, something wild happens. Songkran. Songkran is the Thai New Year, and it's celebrated in April with one of the biggest water fights in the world. Everyone joins in. Kids, adults, locals, tourists. Streets turn into rivers of fun. People throw water on each other, spray with hoses, and splash from buckets. It's loud, it's messy, and it's full of laughter. But there's also a deeper meaning. Washing away the past year and starting fresh. It's joy and tradition mixed together, and it's something you'll never forget. Living in Thailand also teaches you a lot about patience. Things don't always move quickly. Buses might be late, a shop might close without notice. You might need to fill out a form 3 times. But strangely, this slow pace starts to feel right. You stop expecting everything to go your way. You stop fighting the small stuff. And when that happens, life gets lighter. You learn to go with the flow. You start saying, "It's okay" more often, just like the locals do. You also learn humility. In the West, we're often told to speak up, stand out, be bold. In Thailand, it's different. People value being modest, gentle, and polite. Talking too loud or acting too proud is considered rude. This can feel like a big change at first. But after a while, you realize that there's strength in being quiet. You don't always have to win the argument. You don't always have to be first, and that change feels peaceful. I remember one moment that made me smile. I was riding my scooter when I came to a small road where traffic was backed up. In the West, I might have honked or tried to cut around. But here, everyone just waited. And the reason? A chicken was crossing the road. Slowly. No one rushed it. No one yelled. We all just waited. And in that moment, I laughed. Not because it was silly, but because I realized how far I'd come. That kind of patience had become normal to me. And that's the magic of these culture shocks. They sneak up on you. What starts as weird becomes interesting. What seems confusing becomes normal. And before you know it, you're living in a way that feels softer, kinder, and more balanced. You're learning without trying. You're growing without even noticing. You begin to understand why locals smile so much, why they don't argue in public, why they let things go. It's not because life is perfect, it's because they choose peace over pressure. And the more time you spend here, the more you want that too. So yes, Thailand will surprise you. But the real surprise is how much you'll love it. Not just the food or the beaches, but the little things. The calmness of a temple, the joy of Songkran, the respect in a simple why, the quiet patience of waiting behind a chicken. These moments stay with you. They change how you see the world. And they remind you that sometimes it's the unexpected things that leave the biggest mark on your heart. Can you really live here long term? Before you sell everything and hop on a plane, here's the honest truth. Thailand is beautiful, friendly, and peaceful. But living here long term still comes with its own challenges. Many people fall in love with the lifestyle, but it's important to understand the real picture before making a big move. Life in Thailand can be amazing, but like anywhere, it takes some planning and patience. One of the first things you need to think about is your visa. Tourists can stay for a short time, usually 30 to 90 days depending on where they're from. But if you want to stay longer, you'll need a different type of visa. There are several options. A retirement visa is common for people over 50. You need to show some basic financial savings or monthly income, but it's not too hard to get. There's also an education visa, which allows you to study Thai language, cooking, or even martial arts like Muay Thai. Some people get work or business visas, but those usually require a company to sponsor you. No matter which one you choose, you'll need to renew it every year, and that can mean paperwork and a few visits to immigration. Bureaucracy in Thailand can be slow and confusing, especially if you don't speak Thai. Things like visa extensions, driver's licenses, or even banking can take more time than expected. Forms may not be in English. Offices can have odd hours. Rules can change with little notice. That's why patience is key. The good news is you can hire visa agents or local helpers who understand the system. They usually don't charge much and can save you a lot of stress. The language barrier is another thing to keep in mind. In big cities and tourist areas, many people speak basic English, especially in restaurants, hotels, and shops. But once you step outside those zones, it's helpful to know some Thai. Learning a few common words and phrases goes a long way. It shows respect, and locals really appreciate the effort. You don't have to be fluent, but understanding basic numbers, greetings, and food names can make your daily life much smoother. Health insurance is another important topic. Thailand has excellent hospitals, many of which are modern and staffed with well-trained doctors who speak English. Cities like Bangkok and Chiang have international hospitals that feel just like the ones in the West. The costs are much lower, but still, it's smart to have health insurance. There are special insurance plans made for expats, and most of them cover both emergencies and regular checkups. Depending on your age and health, plans can start around $50–100 per month. It's a small price for peace of mind. Some people worry about what will happen if something goes wrong. A legal issue, a serious illness, or just needing help. That's where the expat community comes in. Thailand has large expat groups, both online and in person. You'll find Facebook groups for every city, regular meetups, language exchange events, and even support groups for health and legal matters. If you're in trouble, someone is always willing to help. That sense of community is strong, and it helps you feel less alone. Now, let's talk about money. You've probably heard people say they live in Thailand on $500 a month. And that is true, but only if you keep things simple. Rent, local food, and basic needs can be covered with that amount, especially in smaller cities like Chiang Mai or Isan. But if you want extras like Western food, craft beer, imported snacks, or shopping at malls, the costs add up fast. A burger and fries can cost more than 3 Thai meals. Cheese and wine are expensive. Electronics and name-brand clothes cost more than in the West. So if you're used to certain comforts, you'll need to budget extra. Another thing to think about is long-term financial planning. If you're retired or living off savings, make sure you're not just surviving, but actually living well. If you're working online, have a backup income plan. If you want to stay for years, think about the exchange rate, inflation, and the cost of renewing your visa. Thailand is affordable, but you still need to be smart about your money. And remember, life in Thailand can be peaceful, but it won't fix everything. It won't solve deep personal issues or magically erase stress forever. You'll still have good days and bad ones. But here's the key difference. Thailand gives you space. Space to slow down, to think, to enjoy small things again, to step away from the pressure of more, and focus on what actually matters to you. One man I met, Paul, put it best. He said, "Thailand didn't fix my life, but it gave me the space to breathe and build one I actually like." And that really stuck with me. Because in the end, that's what most of us want. Not perfection, just a life that feels calm, safe, and real. So yes, you can live here long term. Thousands of people do. They find love, peace, and purpose in a place that welcomes them with open arms. But it's not a vacation, it's real life, with ups and downs. If you're ready for that, and you're open to learning, adjusting, and growing, then Thailand might be more than just a place to visit. It might just be home. The one reason they stay. This shocked me. It's not the money. It's not the women. It's not even the weather. People may come to Thailand for those reasons, but they stay for something deeper, something quieter, something that many didn't even realize they were missing until they found it. It's the feeling of being seen, truly seen, and not judged. Back in many Western countries, life can feel like a competition. You're judged by your job, your car, your clothes, your relationship status, your age. There's pressure to be doing more, earning more, achieving more, but in Thailand that pressure fades. No one asks you what you do for a living within 5 minutes of meeting you. No one cares if you're a CEO or someone who just wants a break from everything. You are treated kindly simply for being human, not for your achievements. This feeling of acceptance changes people. They start to breathe easier. They stop pretending. You see older men laughing like kids again. You see quiet people becoming social. You see tired faces turn calm. For some, this is the first time in years that they feel comfortable in their own skin. There's no need to perform, no need to impress. Just being you is enough. Life here moves slower, but not in a boring way. It moves slower in a peaceful way. People eat without rushing. They talk without checking their phones every second. Even walking down the street feels different. There's less hurry, less stress. In Thailand, being present matters more than being productive. That shift can feel strange at first, especially if you're used to a lifestyle where your worth is tied to your work. But over time, it feels like healing. Friendships here are built in simple ways. Over coconut shakes at a beachside shack, over late-night chats at local bars, over a shared laugh during karaoke. You don't need fancy plans or deep connections right away. Things just flow. You meet someone, you talk, you laugh, and suddenly they're part of your life. These friendships feel real because they're not rushed or based on gain. They're based on shared joy, on kindness, on time spent together just being people. And then there's the quiet peace. It's hard to explain unless you felt it. It's in the sound of waves as the sun goes down. It's in the smell of rain on warm pavement. It's in the slow mornings with coffee and no meetings. It's in the long afternoons reading at a quiet cafe. There's no race to win, no ladder to climb, just small, beautiful moments that remind you what life is really about. You stop chasing things that don't matter. Back home, maybe you were always running for success, for attention, for approval. But here, you realize that you don't need to run anymore. You can just be. And for many people, that's the first time they've felt that in their adult life. One man I met said, "I came to escape stress, but I ended up escaping the person I thought I had to be." That hit me. Because so many of us build lives that look right on the outside, but feel wrong on the inside. Thailand doesn't force you to change. It just gives you the space to find who you really are. Some say it's the beaches, the low prices, or the food. And yes, all of that helps. But the real reason people stay isn't something you can list on a brochure. It's a feeling, a shift inside, a quiet voice that says, this feels right. Even when things go wrong, a visa issue, a rainy day, a misunderstanding, people still stay. Not because everything is perfect, but because it feels real. Thailand doesn't ask you to be anyone but yourself. That kind of freedom is rare. And once you taste it, you don't want to give it up. So here's the truth. The reason they stay is because for the first time, they feel alive. Not busy, not successful, not praised, just alive, present, at peace. That's something no amount of money or comfort can buy. And once you've felt it, there's no going back to the old way of living. That is why so many men come to Thailand for a few weeks and end up building a whole new life here. It's not the tourist attractions or the cheap rent. It's that deep, honest feeling that they've finally come home to themselves. If you made it this far, chances are something inside you is whispering, "Maybe I could do this too." Maybe you're tired of the same routine. Maybe you've been looking for something you couldn't explain. A break, a change, a breath of fresh air. Maybe Thailand isn't just a travel dream to you anymore. Maybe it feels like a possible new start. But don't rush. You don't need to make a big decision today. Just sit with that feeling. Let it stay a little longer. Open your bank app. Look at your savings. Then check your passport. Ask yourself a simple question. When was the last time you truly felt free? When was the last time you woke up without a heavy mind, without a clock telling you what to do next, without that weight in your chest? If it takes you more than a second to answer, then you probably already know what's missing. Thailand might not be the perfect place for everyone, but it could be the place where you finally feel lighter. It could be where your days feel more peaceful, your meals taste better, your friendships run deeper, and your smile feels real again. It might be where you stop surviving and start living, and yes, there are details to figure out: money, visas, work, and planning. But those things aren't walls. They're steps. People take them every day. Retired teachers, freelancers, part-time workers, even people who thought they could never live abroad. They made it work, not because they had everything sorted, but because they believed it was worth trying. So take a quiet moment. Picture your life 6 months from now. Would you rather be in the same spot, feeling the same stress? Or would you rather be somewhere warm, somewhere calm, somewhere new? It doesn't have to be forever. It just has to be real. Maybe all you need is one small yes, one ticket, 1 month, one chance to find out how it feels. And if you do go, don't go to escape your life. Go to find the part of it that you've been missing, the part where you feel alive, where you're not always behind, where you're not chasing anything, just living, breathing, being. So no, don't decide now. But if your heart feels a little louder after watching this, don't ignore that voice. You already know what it's trying to tell you. Maybe it's time. maybe it's your turn.